So what is going on, guys? My name is Lethal and welcome back to another Lethal's Take episode. In today's episode I'm going to be discussing a topic which, as you can probably tell by the gameplay, is going to be related to CSGO, and it's probably a controversial take, and there's going to be a lot of people that will disagree with this. However, this is just my opinion, and if you feel differently, I'm happy to have conversations in the comments and try and understand other people's point of view, because as I say, this is just my take. So, the take I've got today is why I think CSGO is the best FPS shooter out there, as well as the best esport in the world. Now, the way this video is going to work is I'm going to break down 3 points on why I think it's the best esport in the world, and then the latter of the video, I will discuss why I think it's the best FPS shooter in the world. Right. So let's not waste any time. Let's just jump straight into it. So I was watching the major that has happened this past weekend, and the more I've watched it, the more I realized how good CS:GO is as an esport. From the gameplay to the storylines to the personalities to everything, to the casters to the analysts, CS:GO is truly, in my opinion, the best esport out there. It has everything you could possibly want, and the way the majors and the way just every event is handled is something that is just amazing. So, without further ado, these are the 3 points I want to make on why I think it is the best esport in the world. First one I want to do is probably the biggest and the most obvious one. It's the gameplay. CS:GO, if you don't follow it or don't know, is in the most competitive state it's been in absolute forever. We have numerous top 5 teams that are able to upset each other. A number 1 team in the world right now, which we don't know if they're still number 1, considering this past tournament gone on, and it does. The results of the major do lead for the next couple of months to be extremely exciting, with the next major event being in a couple of weeks' time in New York. But to focus more on this past week's gameplay, some of the performance we've seen from players such as Device, such as Magisk, such as Jame, all these players had insane performances in each tournament and had clips and highlights that probably a load of people have seen on Twitter or on Reddit that has just kind of showed why CSGO is so good to watch. There's nothing like watching a team. You probably have this when you watch traditional sports, so um, if you watch anything that kind of has drama and dramatics, like there is no better excitement than seeing somebody pull off something they really shouldn't have done. And I think this kind of links to why I think CS:GO is the best FPS or best shooter that you have right now. Is these players spend absolutely forever working on their gameplay and perfecting their craft. These guys are the best of the best, and there's a reason why they're on the biggest stage in the world, hitting these insanely ridiculous shots. So I think there is no better gameplay esport out there than CS:GO. The next point I want to make is one that I've kind of thought about more and more as the major went on, and that's the personalities. You see a lot of these players nowadays, especially in CS:GO, not afraid to say when they think they're good. Stewie from Team Liquid is a prime example of a player that's not afraid to say they're the best in the world and they don't care who they play. NRG did, you saw blimps from them with it, where Stanislaw, after they beat Navi and posed the question of who do you want to play, Liquid or Astralis, he turned around and said, "We don't care, we've beaten them both." These are the personalities you would love to see in sport. These players that have just brimming confidence with just themselves, but as a team, and are not afraid to say stuff that people may get upset and angry about, whether that's calling out another team or just saying that they're the best in the world. So to have these personalities in sort of games, it kind of creates the great sort of chemistry and environment where you got people rooting for them, but you've also got people that are not rooting for them and hope that the other teams beat. And the more people that watch, the more people that pick sides, the better the fan base is. It creates an absolutely exciting environment. And the third and final point on why I think CS:GO is the best esport in the world is the one thing that kind of makes every esport good, and the one thing that I think CS:GO has just had an absolutely amazing time of, and that's storylines. Storylines from Astralis' redemption arc to a team that everybody was writing off at the start of this major to becoming 3-time back-to-back major champions, as well as securing their fourth, which is record-breaking. No other team has ever done it. To Device's rise back to the very top, from being a player that hadn't had a great couple of tournaments to becoming the finals MVP, or the MVP of the whole entire tournament, and having absolutely insane final to help propel Astralis over Vanguard. Speaking of Vanguard and Renegades' shocking wins especially in the playoff stage, and Renegades' amazing 0-2 comeback to go 3-2, and then to be Ents to move on to the semi-finals in the major, which no Australian team has ever done. To Vanguard surprising absolutely everybody by taking out first Vitality, then Renegades, and making it all the way to the major final. These storylines are one of a kind. They happen, I think they happen most commonly in CS, and it's just these storylines are the lifeblood of the game. People want to be able to follow a team, especially a team like Astralis, who was being written off, and people didn't think they could win the major, and they come out and absolutely shock everybody. These are the storylines that people like to listen to, like to watch, and ultimately, I think these are some of the best reasons why we have Counter Strike, or why Counter Strike is the way it is. So, transitioning to why I think it's the best FPS shooter. I spent a lot of time on this one purely because I didn't know if I wanted to talk about it or not. But I transitioned to CSGO from Call of Duty in 2015 from console to PC. And at first I wasn't great at it, but the more I started to play and the more I realized I could get better and better, the more I fell in love with CS. So that kind of leads me on to my first point very nicely, which is the skill. To be good at CS, it's not one of these games you can just pick up and be ultimately good at. You have to put hours upon days upon weeks upon potentially years to years, especially in my case, that's what I've had to do to get to a level where you are competing against some of the best. By no means am I pro, by no means am I anywhere near it. I play at high level on FACEIT, I'm level 8, so getting up there towards the very top of FACEIT, and I've been global numerous times, and the whole thing that I love, especially kind of like a sub point to this, is just the competition side of it. The competition of you and your team can do the most amazing things. You can be down at half and then come back, and just the excitement, the hype that you can have with a team when you come back and done the impossible, and just it's a game that you have to have dedication to, and that's why a lot of people I think do struggle when they first transition into a game like this, because they're used to coming from the Call of Duties, your Overwatches, even your Fortnites, where these games all have auto assist. With CS:GO, there's no auto assist. You have to learn sprays, you have to learn your crosshair placement, your reaction. It's what I think makes the game absolutely beautiful, that you have to put in the time to become better. My second point is the depth of this game. This game on the outside may just look like a very simple FPS shooter, but trust me, it's way more than that. You can learn different smokes, different molotovs to help your team and aid your team into taking bomb sites. You can learn different smokes from your CT side where you can see through it, but they can't. These nice little one ways. There's so much depth to this map, or this game, as well as the maps, and once you start exploring and diving into the world, it is truly amazing just to see how much stuff you can do with just such a basic concept of just a terror side and a CT terror side, and you just got to try and plant the bomb or stop them planting the bomb. And the final thing that I very much felt yesterday when I was playing my FACEIT games is the thrill of playing. The thrill, and what I mean by this, is winning rounds you shouldn't win, such as eco rounds when you pull off the unexpected, as well as clutches. I had a 1v4 clutch yesterday in a pistol round, and just a feeling of doing something that I shouldn't have been able to do, hitting the shots I needed to hit, and just the thrill of winning and winning those rounds is something that I don't think can be matched in pretty much any other game. Yes, it can be matched by in Fortnite winning a game, but I think the whole aspect of winning rounds in Counter Strike that you shouldn't win, winning the clutches that have massive impacts on not just the round but on the game ultimately. If you win a very clutch round when the money's low and you eco the other team, you can start rolling and getting on to victory. That's something that I don't think you can match whether you're playing any other game, and that's why I truly think that CS:GO is the best one of the best games out there, just from the fact that this game really puts people, or pushes people to their very limits. It pushes you on what you think you can do when it comes to games, and it's probably if I was going to recommend any game that somebody wanted to grind and try and become better at, I would say Counter Strike is probably the top one. Just as I say, the amount of stuff you can do in this game, the amount of time it takes, and to any new player or whoever stumbles across this video, I would say it will take time. We've all been there. We've all been there when you first start off and it's not great. You're not doing great. But I promise you, when you put more time in it, you watch the pros, you look at guide videos, you start learning about the game. The better you become, and the more likely you are to reach those higher ranks and to potentially go even further. So I hope you have enjoyed this take. It's been a bit of a long one. Please like, comment, subscribe. If you disagree, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments and we can have a discussion about it. But other than that, guys, I hope you have enjoyed this video and this pistol DM. Have a great day. I'll catch you next time.